We now turn our attention to boxing and the upcoming heavyweight fight coming up on the 1st of April 2023 at the O2 Arena. We've got Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin. Long awaited return of AJ after the 2 losses to Usyk, and an important fight for him to let everybody know that he's still around and he's still a big force at heavyweight. For Jermaine Franklin, it's an opportunity to build on his fight with Dillian Whyte, where he showed his talent, he showed heart, he showed grit, he showed quick hands, he showed impressive combinations, and he'll be looking to build on that impressive performance against Anthony Joshua. If we look at the betting odds, we've got Jermaine Franklin 9-1 best price at SBK, got the draw best price 74-1, and we've got AJ the favourite at 1-10. So Joshua's a short favourite at 1-10, we'd expect that. He's a former world champion. He's fought at a higher level in the past, obviously. If we go on past form, it'd be difficult to look past AJ, just simply because of his body of work and his experience, the number of challenges he's taken on and come out victorious. He's fought at a higher level, and therefore you'd make him a overwhelming favourite, and he is at 1-10. Can he come back and be galvanised under his new trainer Derek James, show us new skills, come back with a better attitude? Most definitely. There's big fights out for him still out there. We've got the Wilder fight, we've got the Fury fight, Joe Joyce. There's plenty of options out there. There was talk before about Dillian Whyte rematch, so there's fights out there, there's big money. If he turns up, you'd expect him to get the job done, but Jermaine Franklin is no pushover, as he showed against Whyte. Went the distance. Some people thought he was robbed, some people thought he got the victory. Dillian Whyte, it wasn't the best version of Dillian Whyte, but he still put on a decent display. It wasn't a complete rollover. And Franklin did well in that fight. If he produces a similar sort of performance, he'll give Anthony Joshua something to think about. The outcome of this fight, I think it'll have a lot to do with how AJ's viewing it. AJ is coming off those 2 bad defeats against Usyk. He's got a new trainer. People have been saying this and that. Looking at interviews, he doesn't seem too bothered about what people have to say, but he's now talking about wanting to be a prize fighter and winning big money. I notice he's not talking about the titles as much as he used to, which is interesting. I think in the past he was more talking about being an ambassador and legacy and things like that, and now he's talking about being a great prize fighter and earning large sums of money, which he always has done, really. So it sounds like there's been a shift in his mentality. Will that affect his performance? Possibly. Jermaine Franklin's going to be focused. It's reported that he has some sort of managerial and promotional problems. He's engaged in a dispute with Dimitri Salita, and it sounds like there's financial issues there, pertaining to how much he should have been paid in previous fights. And I'm not sure. I don't know the details. I think even this fight, the purse for that, he might not even be happy with what's been agreed for that. But anyway, there's legals going on, and I think that makes it look as though he'll be hungry. He's not really rich. He hasn't made the money that Joshua's made so far. He's on the way up, so I think he's got a hungrier outlook. He showed hunger against Whyte with that tremendous performance, and if he brings that same sort of hunger and ambition into this fight, he could cause AJ problems. So let's get to some odds now. So we would have thought Joshua would win this fight. He's at 1-10. Not much value there. If you bet on that, you've got to put down a big stake to make anything worthwhile. 1-10, not that attractive. AJ by knockout, 3-10. Slightly better, but again, you're going to have to put down a big stake on that. So even though it's likely that AJ will win, those odds for AJ victory don't really return much unless you get heavy with your stake. So we're going to try and look out elsewhere for some value. Jermaine Franklin 9-1. Yeah, it's a much bigger price, but I think it probably looks. Most places have got 8-1, and I would say 8-1 is probably where it should be. I don't think it's a giveaway. Obviously, of the 2 of them, they're offering a lot more than Franklin, but that's because of the experience advantage that AJ has. And it's a justified price. So if we look for value elsewhere, we can look at the group betting. So we've got Jermaine Franklin. If he was to win in rounds 1-6, 33-1. If he was to win in round 7-12, you've also got 33-1 on that one at Sky Bet. So some big figures there. You'd have to say if Franklin's going to win, he's going to need a stoppage, because I don't see him getting a decision against Joshua. Joshua being the cash king, Joshua being the man that Matchroom are trying to get back online with regards to these big fights against Fury. That's such a big money fight. If it was close, it's a close fight. You know, I don't see Jermaine Franklin getting a decision, as happened to him against White. So it's a fight where I don't think it's too wise to get involved with big amounts in terms of betting. The reason why is that the likely outcome on Asia doesn't pay anything. And there's a chance, Franklin has a chance. He's got very quick hands, he's got a good jab, he's got a good chin. You know, he's no pushover. If AJ is going to beat him, he's going to have to get rid of him. AJ's not going to give up. Not AJ, Franklin's not going to give up. He's not going to take a knee, he's not going to quit. He's going to go all the way. So it's going to be a hard night for AJ, whether he wins or loses. So I would say look towards Franklin. I would be looking towards a bet where you can put a small stake. The kind of stake that you don't care if you lose it. So you can enjoy the fight and not worry that you know, you're going to lose a fortune. Just put a small amount for fun. I would look at Franklin around 7 to 12 at 33 to 1. The reason being, I think it's going to be a fight that gets to the second half, simply because of the expertise of Joshua. I don't think he's going to go early and lose. Obviously, he had an issue against Ruiz, but it was only on one occasion. And I think with his new trainer, Derek Jones, and his new outlook, in the sense that he's trying to make a statement and get back on course, I don't think he's going to go easy. So I think second half of the fight will come. Franklin lands something. He's got the power. 33 to 1. That'll give you a nice return on any stake. So if you go with a, you know, just a conservative stake on that, you can enjoy the fight. And if you lose it, so what? And if you win, happy days. I don't see the point in betting on AJ on this one. Some people will say, oh, well, the obvious outcome is AJ by knockout, 3 to 10. Yeah, it's not a juicy enough price. It's not interesting. The price looks, to be honest, it looks a bit short. I think it's a bit on the short side. But obviously the bookies know they're going to take the majority of the money on AJ, you know, with his reputation and everything. Franklin, we hadn't heard of him 6 months ago. But now we have seen what he can do. He can do a lot. So we're not going to underestimate him. It's a fight at the end of the day. We've seen recently that the underdog can put on a good show and be impressive. We had Lyndon Arthur last Friday fighting a standing in Boris Crichton. And Boris Crichton went the distance and had his moments. Had his moments in the fight. Obviously, Lyndon Arthur got the job done in the end, using his experience. But Boris Crichton came, threw everything at him and put in a good show. And obviously now he's going to move on and be given more opportunity. So we've seen it in boxing before. We've seen Buster Douglas. We've seen Andy Ruiz. We've seen upsets. No one expected Bivol to beat Canelo. That's a slightly different situation. Obviously, Bivol was a highly well-regarded contender in that fight. So Franklin's status hasn't reached those sort of levels. But I'm just saying, it's fighting. It's heavyweight. One punch can stop the fight. We expect AJ to win. We all expect AJ to win. But if he wins at 1 to 10 or 3 to 10 by KO, TKO or DQ, let him get on with it. You know, congratulations. But a small stake on Franklin. Round 7 to 12, 33 to 1, I think it's worthwhile. It's going to be a good fight. Enjoy it. Let me know your views on the fight. I think we all think AJ's likely to win. I think the value, though, a value bet, is probably Franklin around 7 to 12 to get the job done, 33 to 1. Enjoy the fight. It'll be fun either way. And I'll see you next time.